We are privileged to have a distinguished speaker with us for a special address today. Before the address begins, a formal introduction of the guest speaker will be made by a member of the research team, Ms. Hasini Sandeepani, Research Assistant, Research Center SGC, to formally introduce our guest speaker. Hasini, over to you.
It is with great honor and sincere pleasure that I introduce our distinguished guest speaker, Associate Professor Mahindayappa Bandara, a highly accomplished academic researcher and transport economist whose scholarly contributions have made a significant impact on the fields of transport economics, logistics, and maritime studies. Associate Professor Mahinda currently serves as an Associate Professor and Program Leader for the MBA in Business Leadership and Practice. In this role, he provides academic leadership while teaching in the areas of supply chain and logistics, operations management, transport economics, and management research. He has extensive experience in supervising postgraduate and undergraduate research, including MBA research projects, work-based learning projects, and business live projects. Over the past 15 years, he has been actively engaged in teaching, research coordination, and the academic and professional development of students at different levels of higher education. He completed his undergraduate studies at the University of Peradeniya, Sri Lanka, specializing in economics and statistics, and subsequently obtained his PhD from the National Centre for Ports and Shipping at the Australian Maritime College, University of Tasmania. His research interests include transport pricing, econometric applications in maritime and port economics, transport and port policy, sustainability in transport and logistics, the informal transport economy, and the integration of sustainable development goals within the transport and logistics sector. These research interests are strongly reflected in his scholarly publications, conference presentations, and contributions to national and international transport development projects as a transport economist. Associate Professor Mahindayappa Bandara is a fellow member of the Chartered Institute of Logistics and Transport and has served the Institute with distinction, including as Vice President for Education in 2021, following many years as a chartered member. His academic excellence and research contributions have been recognized through prestigious awards, including the Young Colin Ralph Award from the International Forum for Rural Transport Development and the Australian Development Scholarship for Postgraduate Research. In addition to his teaching and research commitments, he makes substantial contributions to the global academic community as an editorial board member of leading journals in maritime technology and logistics and as a reviewer for numerous high-impact international journals in transport, logistics, and policy studies. He has also contributed to international academic excellence as a visiting scholar at the Tokyo Institute of Technology and as a visiting professor at Beijing Georgetown University. In light of his outstanding academic leadership, international recognition, and sustained commitment to research and scholarship, we are deeply honored to welcome Associate Professor Mahindayappa Bandara as our guest speaker at this journal launching ceremony. His presence today adds immense scholarly value to this occasion, and we eagerly look forward to his insights. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me clearly. Dr. Vijita?
Yes, we can hear.
Thank you. Right. So at the very outset, thank you very much for inviting me as the speaker for the journal launching ceremony of Sigiri Global College review, basically the journal. So I'm really happy to see within a short period of time, the college has progressed well, and there was a conference I could not join because of the time difference, and I could basically join the journal review. So I would basically talk on this topic today. I saw Venerable show the journal's policy, and I observe there's a statement in the journal policy stating that AI related content, if they are within the submitted work, the submissions will be rejected. So that's sort of the underlying sort of policy framework the journal has adopted. So within my time period, so I'll try to bring some insights, what we do within our university and also in the UK, pretty much the European context, representing the global north psychology behind AI use. So if I ask you the question, which AI tool is the best? Is there any rule of thumb to select or choose any AI applications for your own work in order to support your academic research writing? So this is really vague because the AI has come to the surface recently, and there's a school of thought supporting AI use in every aspects of our lives. And that's attributed to markets and market liberalization and neo liberalization policies of markets, where the IT market is booming, and then the opponents or proponents of the AI is predicting that the AI contributes to different layer of jobs and opportunities and markets and income generations. But the opponents are citing it is basically against the human thinking, and there will be bias involved. There could be errors, and there could be unforeseen precedents of using AI, continue to use AI. So, and also there's a middle ground now because AI is still developing. There's no sort of a rule of thumb in order to basically select which AI tool need to be used. At the same time, there is also a sort of equity issue in terms of global north and south, where certain fractions of the society cannot access proper AI-based technology because of the subscription embedded in it. Of course, there are free licensing, open source AI sources. Applications are there, but yet the powerful tools are basically subscribed. And then depending on the income levels, the global context, everybody cannot access. There's an equity issue around it as well. So what the current situation, if you look at, is there's no single best AI overall, and different AI models provide different tasks, and the right to use a particular AI model or AI application depends on what you want to do about it. So there's some comparisons going on right now because the number of AI applications are really increasing. In high number of applications are coming in, and As you see here, the slide shows the different names and some of the things I have never known. So the right to use a current model all depends on different distinctive strength of a particular model. And there's always a trade-off between what you use and what do you want to use it for, whether it's going to be addressing your really the problem, etc. All depends on how you use it. But the water is very shaky. There's so much of issues now started to appear in news. These are particular cases that the global north, especially in university sector top 2, we see in news. If you really search for, there are so much of issues are now surfacing related to AI in academic sector and also legal sector, especially. And also there are some court cases still going on related to AI use content using very sensitive areas like legal decision making, fake documentation, fake news, fake content within the legal cases. And that's been identified. And so far, so many cases, especially in US, around 822 cases about AI cause filing. So the situation is very diluted. We are in the middle of it, and we don't know where we are heading to. Even in global north, we as institutions struggle to make decisions about what to do about it. I will slowly, in next slides, I will explain some of the issues we have. So this is what the current situation is. Now, in terms of regulating, now in your journal, there's a statement, clear statement, any AI content being found and the rejections of the submissions. So regulating AI use is sort of a area that people are thinking, but in terms of global north, because of the situations where the AI applications are still developing, and critique says AI is they have basically explore options to further trained in real life. That's why they are out right now. And then as you use it every day in your life in terms of finding content, finding any news or any academic related work, you are feeding data into every applications every minute of the day. So that input you are feeding in every day are used by companies to retrain the model, retrain their, and the proponent says the AI systems are getting strength, so they are becoming powerful. So based on that proposition, right now, there is an institutional level, the academic conduct officers for student-related matters. They have some little role to play now, looking at AI-related content. And at the same time, they are developing what we call living guidelines. So global north, particularly East, North America and the European context, they are developing policies and guidelines pretty much in favor of responsible use of AI. So this is basically what we see. So the justification is, so generative AI, they are creating possibilities, but they understand the risk as well. But in order to basically exploit the opportunities that AI is providing, they are providing basically the sort of a guidelines in order to develop a sound grounding for a policy landscape. So they are evolving as well. So every 3 months, there will be update of these guidelines for research to use it. That's how basically the situation right now. So looking at these guidelines, one of the key guideline we used in European context is, this is most appreciated version of it, is the European Commission. As you know, EU living guideline for responsible use of generative AI. So this guideline explain the ways and methods of using AI for education purposes, industries, research, students, government policies, etc. So, and it highlighted several elements of it. So it explained in nutshell, whoever use AI is the person ultimately remain responsible in terms of scientific output. And they guide, if you use AI, you have to be transparent. You have to be presenting your work with some acknowledgement on how you use and for what purpose you use, what sort of prompt you use, and based on which you have to become, you have to basically present or become transparent in your reporting of the work. And they say, if you are an organization, if you are looking for setting up an AI guidance policy, you have to abide by it. And also that's been linked to the data protection, GDPR, because the general guideline for data protection policies, which is very crucial in global north, because that embedded a lot of millions of money because of the privacy of data. And if there's a legal case, millions of money being paid every year because of the court cases against the using data. Because the AI tools are really clever in scrapping data from different sources, and especially some other data being scrapped from sources which are copyrighted. And when the third party is publishing those copyrighted information within a geographical territory like EU, which has copyright legal issues, then there are court cases. So it is sort of a situation that we need to use it, but use it responsibly, basically following the guidelines set up by their own institutions and governance framework. And that is sort of respecting the broader national, international legislations around the data. So AI cannot really dismiss the global and country level data protection related regulations. So that's what the standard here. So, and at the end, the guideline says, okay, the AI tools are learning every day and you are feeding data into it. However, don't use or refrain from using AI substantially in your work. So at the end, they still say, don't use it, but use it responsibly. It might be a little from the EU to the broader capital markets where the IT is generating enough revenues and innovations are taking place, so they are not criticizing in a negative way. That's my take personally. But in broader sense, everybody acknowledge, everybody's supportive of this, but acknowledge at the same time they are basically guiding the users, government policy, government institutions, universities, basically researchers, students, to use it more responsibly. And the UK context, I will bring a little bit on this as well. The UK government also has produced artificial intelligence playbook for the UK government. So if you're a government institutions, you need to follow a certain rules and regulations in order to use AI. When it comes to my university where I work, we have interim generative AI data protection guidance. You see, it's interim. Interim means there's no final thing. And that's been evolved, still evolving. People are generating suggestions and feedback. And so the document is basically, the guidance is evolving. This is a living thing. So that's how basically the institutional and governance setup related to AI here. Now comes, okay, what do you do about it? So this is basically the UK case. I'm just digging into it. What we do in our university, probably Sigiri Global College might produce a policy document in the light of global policies covering the local content and local environment. So we basically directly guide, do not use personal data into AI models because that's linked to our GDPR. Because when you search things with AI, you should not include personal data into AI. And you do not use university corporate informations within AI models because that's basically revealing our confidential data. For example, our financial data within the university should not be used in order to analyze, for example. Basically, final reporting is fine, but the micro level data that is gathered in terms of cost and finance and etc., student data, student grades, student marks with names should not be feed into AI models to generate patterns and etc. You can do a lot of analysis, but should not use. So some people try to, find out informations about people from AI, what AIs talk about me, for example, you can search, but it is not allowed. So in terms of recruitment, for example, if somebody is applying for a university position, and people should not use his name in the AI model to search about that person because if there's a suspicion, etc. So that's related to the GDPR. And more importantly, I'm sure this journal launch and the previous conference being recorded or, etc. But I'm not sure whether you use AI in our university using AI meeting assistants, MeetGeek, or any other note-taking application is prohibited. So we cannot use it. If found, there will be a sort of investigations around it. So we cannot use within the university systems. All of these do not cases are related to our GDPR policy here at the university. And in terms of student learning, I also, some of the cases here, we have a policy that every student submitting in their work, this is related to academic work, they have to basically acknowledge based on any particular functions they want to, options they need to basically opt for. So based on this particular acknowledgement, basically the marker assessments will be carried out. If they found guilty of incorporating AI, there will be investigations by the academic conduct officer, most probably ending up with a viva session, and then upon which the decision will be made whether the student has done the work. So given the number of students we have, it's really tedious task, but there's a team basically behind this. So it's additional cost for the university in order to employ people in order to investigate AI cases. So we get like total university in a year around 500 cases being reported. So these words are pretty much the common words that we see in AI generated material assessments. So our assessments also now evolved with AI in order to eliminate the potential biasness and errors. So assessments are more become case study based and also live presentation in class. So that's pretty much the academic area, but it's not the major focus today. It's about the writing. So in order to support the academic writing, research writing, I think the first policy established here, we have a number of workshops over the year. Last year, the basic idea is to educate staff as well as students. So that's the philosophy right now here. Educate how to use AI based following the guidelines we have established. So if it is a journal policy or a book or review, etc., follow the journal or the policy guideline. That should be a first do. And also AI as a guide, how to use AI as a guide. They're not completely doing your task based on the prompt you are generating. And that has to be followed. And as I mentioned before, the sole responsibility lies with the user. So they need to basically get the responsibility and should be able to identify any misinformations are being presented by AI generated without reporting them back. So therefore, I bring in the idea of 3R in AI, which is read, refine, recheck before reporting. So in order to avoid, because there's so much of hallucination within the AI-related content, and also a lot of biasness, inaccurate information being presented to you looks like they are correct. But if you overlook the content without your expertise in it, and you end up with misinformation being reported in your work. And that's been ultimately caught or rejected if it is a journal submission. And some suggest, if journal suggestions, you need to cite generative AI, some journals, and some journals said, if you find AI content, you should assess it. If you use it for checking grammar or spellings and etc., you acknowledge that you use this particular software AI to basically check your grammar, spelling, and so on. And as I mentioned before, as you as a researcher, it's a very efficient tool, very fast. You can do many things using it, but you need to be very aware of the risk involved in it in terms of intellectual property and copyright infringement. But that depends on the country, the region where you basically live and work, because some of the copyrights and infringement laws are not so enforced within global now, South basically. So that's basically the university side, how to do it. And furthermore, I think these are common mistakes you have seen if you started using AI, what it is, and so on. I myself try to use it, and it generates a lot of wrong references, literature. You cannot find these articles. These are all recreated content without any proper citations. And you can use AI to summarize article and speed up the process, but I have seen many of the content are not related to the real work, and they are just hallucinating the content from different sources and try to bring it together like machines creating, summarizing the content into a one particular concept under, but they are mostly 20% wrong content or inaccurate informations are recorded. So, but you can use AI to generate concepts and brainstorm ideas, but not to report, and just to check your understanding is correct, just to check whether your line of thinking is correct. Is there any different opinion about it? So it's the brainstorming use. So all this means AI can be used as assistant, not as a sole writer for you. So that's the current context, because the AI applications are still generating the content that is not valid, and because the AI is still developing. That's why the guidelines are basically still in the live context, or they are interim guidelines, or the live guidelines. Still, it is not saturated. But we understand AI has importance, and we should not lose the benefits or the advantage of using AI in our work. You like or not, world is moving towards it. I think Vijita is here in UK, and I saw German scholar Aruna probably know where we are heading. Larger context, and it's become part of it. Although it creates a lot of triggering negative outputs, issues around it, the proponents and the strength of the technological companies and around stakeholders are really supporting towards developing a massive, powerful, AI tools to be used in every day of our life. So as academics, I think rather going against it, we need to see the ways, means in order to embed this particular technology, save our time in our academic work. It depends on the type of disciplines as well. I have no much idea about the Buddhist, etc., but there are a lot of writing in that. But people here in business school, they use AI openly, even in presentations, and they present how they use it. And also they do their own analysis separately and show the comparison and see how good AI is, how good I am thinking about myself without using AI, that kind of research going on. So it's still in the experimental stage. So I propose we should not lose out the advantages of AI, which is needed for academic writing. So in order to conclude, we are in a sort of a middle of ocean, but there's a road ahead, and we should not basically drive out of it, and we need to navigate through it. And it's your experimentation, your knowledge, following rules and guidelines set up by journals, policies, and also reading on the institutional and global level guidance, and ultimately taking that responsibility to you as a scholar, basically provide the way for AI use in academic writing. That's my basically view on that. So thank you very much for listening to me. And I have provided some links for our two documents here, which are used European context and also the UK context. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Bandara, for the insightful and thought-provoking talk, which will greatly guide researchers in engaging with AI ethically and effectively in academic writing. And actually, I must mention that one of the main reasons for inviting the professor was to address the topic of AI in academic writing. So as a significant number of articles submitted to SGC had been rejected due to inaccurate and unethical use of AI tools. In this context, the session was intended to raise awareness and provide some proper guidance on the responsible use of AI in research and scholarly writing. Moreover, our professor is directly involved in teaching and guiding students on appropriate AI usage at Edinburgh, Napier, as I know, which makes his expertise particularly relevant and valuable for his audience. So according to him, AI shouldn't be the sole writer in our context. Thank you very much, sir.